before now. Oh, look at this. Look, you can see real battling going on here. Oh, but there will be investigation. Deserving winning there.
Good evening, SynergyPWR viewers across the world, and welcome to SynergyPWR People's World Racing round number 10 here at the Silverstone International Circuit. Glad to be here and in the commentary box. As usual here for Division 1, of course, it's Eddie and Adrian. Good evening.
Good evening, James.
Good evening, James. Hi, Eddie. How are we doing?
Good evening, Adrian. Well, here we are, everybody, and welcome to SynergyPWR, People's World Racing. And we are here at the iconic Silverstone track, and in true British summer conditions of rain. We had rain in Q1 a little bit earlier, and quickly see, looks like, yes, Lucas is going out on track, closely followed by Rewind in the McLaren. So, what are we expecting here this evening, Adrian?
Well, probably for them to be quite cautious in the opening few laps, just while they adjust to the wet track. Yeah, probably see some good times. I mean, we saw just under the 140s in Q1, the drivers that risked going out in Q1.
Yeah, indeed, Q1. We were running with 14 drivers. Q1 was just a little bit of extra practice for the drivers. But unfortunately, our Renault driver, Josh Diggles, came unstuck and took it on the chin. It was Josh, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was Josh. Yeah, he sent a message into the Discord. He's using a pad rather than a wheel. Decided to get a few practice laps in, and binned it on about his second go round, I think.
Well, like a true pro, he's taking it on the chin. Said, "Look, appreciate didn't need to go out, but I did. I took the risk, so I'll take the pain rather than the gain in this case." But we are looking at wet conditions, obviously, here in the qualifying, but do we know what conditions are going to be like for the actual race itself at all, Adrian?
Well, the actual race is looking to be much drier. There's still going to be a few sort of black clouds up above, but yeah, it should stay relatively dry.
Okay, well, it's certainly going to put an interesting mix. We've got 3 compounds of tyre this evening. We have the hard, which is the blue wall, the medium, the white wall, and the yellow softs. Adrian, obviously, unfortunately, I was saying to you earlier, I didn't manage to catch all of the race from yesterday, but you were out, well, you certainly had a bit of an incident quite early on, didn't you?
Yeah, I mean, it was a really good race. It's just a shame I wasn't sort of part of it. Yeah, I had an incident before the very first corner. I went into the back of Heat Proof Ham because he was braking as a result of an incident ahead of him. And yeah, it was just one of those things. Unfortunately, just wrong place at the wrong time. You know, I tried my best to avoid it, but you know, there's no way you can. But yeah, the rest of the race, I mean, for what I saw on the stream, obviously it wasn't very good from where I was. I was 13th for the entire race, going around on the hard tyre for all of it. But yeah, no, the actual race itself was very entertaining. Some good battles, especially for sort of, I think it was P6, P7. My teammates Fair Cookie battling with WWR Ted 53. There were sort of backwards and forwards for a lot of it. But importantly, Trigster picked up his very first win. He's been trying really, really hard in that Sauber since the start of the season. He's had multiple podiums and races where he probably should have won, but crashed out. So, you know, fair play to him. He's done well to get that.
Well, excellent result, obviously, for Trigster. Not so good, unfortunately, for yourself. And we're on board at the moment with Lucas in the Red Bull. This is just coming round Sector 3, coming down to Vale. Not looking too bad. We saw times, as you say, in Q1 from 11 Skills in the Toro Rosso and Sean Gregory in the Ferrari. Oh, and he goes off track there. Oh, does a 149. Rewind. Came out just behind him in the McLaren. Did a 144. Orbit Nations has just put in a 144 as well. as I was saying, we did see A11 Skills and Toro Rosso and Sean Gregory set 138. They were the two that risked going out. So clearly there's a bit of space. You can see now ZG Swift. He set a 138. Rose Millhouse 138. Relentless 139. James, you have some news for us?
Yeah, hi. Sorry, I forgot to unmute my mic there. Anthony 6780, otherwise known as Jakar 71, the Division 1 World Champion from last season. Obviously, big notable missee here at the British Grand Prix. He makes a comment in the stream chat saying, good luck to everyone tonight, and I wish I was racing tonight. Everyone wishing you the very best here at Synergy, Anthony. We hope to see you next week.
Indeed, sorely missed Jakar, last year's season winner, currently 8th in the championship. Bit out of place, hasn't had a great start to the season, but he's been very good in the past few races.
Yeah, he's done well.
Tom
has
just
crashed.
crashed out. So Tom has crashed out. Now that is certainly going to put the cats amongst the pigeons, because Tom, Williams driver, currently charging ahead in the Drivers' Championship. He's out of Q2,
Yeah.
so he will be effectively starting in at least 10th position with that 138.2.
Well, he's done it before, and he started from the back of the grid at Canada and still won the race. So I think any other driver, they might have a problem, but I think Tom can probably nab his 7th straight win at this track, regardless of where he starts.
Well, it'll certainly make it for an interesting one. Bit of a Lewis Hamilton duplicate. I don't know if he was going for that intentionally. I doubt it. But yeah, I mean, again, let's look at strategy in that instance. What does he do? Does he go on the mediums to go to softs, take him nice and deep into the race because he needs to make up that time? Or does he feel he's going to be able to charge through the field and go on the softs and then onto the mediums?
Starting further back, you'd definitely want to start on the harder tyre, the medium tyre. And run to the soft a bit later. I mean, because the soft users will all pit around, the earliest pitters might be around sort of lap 9, but the latest one's about lap 12. And the medium tyre can do 16 laps sort of quite easily. Tom could probably eke a few more out of them. So then he'll be onto the soft tyre around sort of lap 17 or so with clean air ahead of him, hopefully.
Well, it's certainly going to prove interesting. We've just seen NW Knowles set a blinding time there, his teammate, 1:37.9, went straight in the pits following that. And we're on board with Johan at the moment. He's on track in the Haas on a 1:38.3, but at 1:37.9, that's a wicked time from NW Knowles there, isn't it, Adrian?
Yeah, that's not too shabby, especially in these conditions. Obviously, looking to prove a point, and also it's worth noting that you can push harder in this Q2, which you couldn't normally do because the race itself is going to be dry. So it's not like they're going to be using these tyres in the race, so they can just keep pushing.
Absolutely, and it's certainly mixed it up. And James.
Yeah, sorry, I just wanted to slip in again. I hit the mute button on my microphone. I need to make sure I hit that unmute. At the moment here, I'm looking here at Capita Hood, a mentioner in the stream chat, who says Josh Diggle's pad is driver of the day, which is hilarious.
Yeah, let's just see that.
Synergy F1 Carrot, Synergy PWR's young driver of the season last season. Hashtag Ask Adrian. How annoyed are you about the Constructors' Championship in Division 2 with a laughing emoji?
Well, not as annoyed as I am right now after reading that. Yeah, no, it's not great. I mean, Toro Rosso, we only picked up 3 points to Sauber's, what was it, 35 last race? I think you're about 24 points ahead now. So, yeah, we got some work to do. But there was a period where we won. I think we won between us 5 out of 8 races. So I think we need another little sort of period like that, and I think we'll be back on top. Well,
We're just on board now with Lucas as he's come out of Vale, coming round Club now. Not looking too shabby there. Sets a 1:38.999. Well, the devil is in the detail, I guess. Puts him in 7th place. And CG Relentless, he's currently in the pits, but in the drop zone, obviously we've got Tom there with that 1:38.2. Rewinds in with a 1:40.4. Rose Millhouse out on track at the moment. Hypernova also out on track. Let's go with Rose Millhouse as he's coming round the back of the track now, approaching Cops.
Just
So,
in the.
what do you think? Do you think Tom's going to be able to sneak in, or is he going to lose out? Oh dear! And Rose Millhouse going off the track there.
No, I don't think he'll keep P10. He won't be in Q1 at all. I think he should. He should in theory be P13. Johan's just retired.
Yeah.
He's retired in a bit. He's done enough.
Yeah. He's obviously decided that that's sufficient with a 1:38.3, and I can't say I can disagree with him. We've still got just over 4 minutes to go. We're with Rose Millhouse now, still to set the times. He comes round Vale now, about to come round Club onto that start-finish straight. Not looking too good, but 1:39.8 puts him in P12. I think the only man really there is Orbit Nations, but he's currently in the pits. He's just coming out now, I think, by the looks of it. Yep, Orbit Nations coming out onto the track now. A11 Skills out on track at this moment in time. Just coming down to the final set of corners round Vale, round 17 now. Pushing it, get that corner on Club, onto that start-finish straight. Can't better that time of a 1:38.5. Let's go with Orbit Nations. He's on his outlap at this moment in time. And he's just coming round Aintree onto that Wellington straight, sector 2. Round Brooklands. Then into Luffield. Tricky turn, Luffield, at the best of times, but in these conditions even more so when you lay down that power coming out of it, really, isn't it, Adrian?
Yeah, it's really sort of difficult to get just right. Even harder in sort of a race scenario, but equally hard in the wet here.
He's gone wide round Cops, but he is on his outlap, so no great worries there. Looking fairly tidy. I mean, we know that obviously he can set a better time than that, but it would be extremely fortunate for Tom if he managed to maintain that 10th place.
Yeah, certainly. I don't think Orbit's going to improve this lap.
Definitely not. He's on just under 3 minutes. James, you have some news for us?
Yeah, I just want to talk about Tom 123. Obviously, now he's a big part of SynergyPWR, obviously leading the way at the moment. He definitely has crashed out because one thing to make a note of at the moment, notice 1:38.2 is actually faster than P9's Mulan 1:39.5. So Tom has crashed out of this race. He's out. He's gone. He's not committed to the next session. So at this rate, there'll only be 9 people through to Q3. If Orbit, Rose and Rewind cannot get faster than a 38.2, so him crashing out has potentially messed up a lot of drivers here. So a bit of an unfortunate situation for Orbit, Rose and Rewind, and of course Tom crashing out of this session, but he will not be going through to Q3, so it's going to be a very spicy Q3 in my opinion.
Well, certainly, and well pointed out there, because I wasn't actually looking at those times behind, because indeed on that time, if he was still on track, he would actually be slotting in, where are we, around about 3rd place, I think. So, I mean, just to explain, James, for those of us that are somewhat impaired on trying to figure out how things work, obviously we've got him, he's crashed out, he's done a 1:38.2, and you're saying it's going to affect a number of the drivers because obviously these guys can't. Then there'll be 8. How does that work?
Well, basically, Codemasters. It's quite. Fortunately, P11, P12, and P13 have actually got to get faster than the 1 minute 38.2 in order to try and get above Hyper's 1 minute 39.1. So it's a really, really silly way that how they've coded it, but essentially it means that Mulan, Orbit, and Rewind have got to try and better the pace. As you see there, 38.6. All right, no, fair enough. So it doesn't work like that then. So fair play. The drivers have basically got to get a hot lap in and be as fast as they possibly can. So I think it's kind of a temperamental system, to be quite honest with you. Codemasters.
I've got to say, it doesn't seem to make much sense. I thought there might be some logic to it. Obviously, I should have known better. So there is no logic to it whatsoever. We'll figure that out. We've still got a number of drivers out on track.
Can I just throw a little spanner in the works here? But just in regards to Tom's lap there. Yeah, that lap is 100% valid. The telemetry is saying that it is a valid lap. He crossed the start-finish line to record that lap without going off track. I don't know why it's still showing him as P10.
Because he's crashed, and that's the problem with the system.
This is what we don't get. Yeah, I'm just coming back in here. I don't understand the system at the moment, because if you look at it, Rewind's not managed to set a lap time, and he's actually gone to 140.4 for him. So he's been knocked out alongside Hyper in P12 with a 39.1, Lucas with a 38.9, and Tom with a 38.2. Even though that he really should be P4 by the looks of things, not P5 for that matter. So it's a bit of a weird system. I don't understand why they knock him down to P10. Why don't they just knock him down to P13 because he's DNF'd? Do you know what I mean? I don't understand the system personally, but hey, Codemasters, what can you do?
I'm sure in real life he'd be through. He'd be, P5 or whatever he is, but he just won't be able to participate in the next session.
Well, it is somewhat of an odd one. I was hoping that there might be a logic to it, but unfortunately there isn't. So that's what it basically is. But some blinding times while we were having a quick little draw on that one. I mean, A11 Skills setting a 137.7. So that was pretty awesome going. I mean, he actually took out, nearly 8/10 from his previous time that he did in that tryout in Q1. So there we have in the drop zone. Let's quickly have a look at that. Rewind will take P13 in the McLaren in the 7th row, 6th row Hypernova in Alfa Romeo P12. Alongside him in the Red Bull, Lucas is P11. Tom is P10.
Yeah, I think it's
Sean
fixed
Gregory,
itself.
Ferrari, P9. ZG Relentless for Haas, 8. Rose Milhouse for Red Bull, 7. 6 Orbit Nation for Ferrari, 5 Johan for Haas. Mulan for Mercedes was 4. ZG Swift with 138.0 3. NW Noel for Williams 137.9, and A11 Skills with a 137.750. So we're just about to go into Q3. And as if by magic, James.
Yeah, sorry, just made a note. Sean Gregory was in P8 with a 38.0. He crashed out as well. So he's no longer in Q3 either. So if you notice there, his 38.0's gone P9 and Tom's has gone P10.
Yeah.
So I think he's been lined up on the grid as according. So he goes P9 with Tom on the 38.2 going P10. And then all the other fielders who didn't crash out then progress through to Q3 to set their lap time between 1 and 8. The only problem is that it messes the people down below if it's not coded correctly. So, bit of a weird one, bit of a weird system, but it kind of works. So, we can only hope, anyway, the final 8 drivers, though, through to Q3.
Well, indeed. It has certainly mixed it up. We know now, obviously, as James pointed out, that Tom will be starting in P10. And we're just with Johan now, who is coming out on track for his outlap. Conditions still pretty much as they were in Q2, aren't they, Adrian? Doesn't look much different from my view.
Yeah, no, I think this rains with this for the duration here. The race itself should be dry, but...
Apologies for that. I'm just desperately trying to swat a blue bottle that's flying around in here. Not what you'd expect to see in the throes of November coming into December. But obviously he's woken up. We're running with A11 skills as he's just coming round, walking around cops into Maggots and Beckett's now. So we're on the intermediates. We've seen 137.7s, 137.9s. Only 2 drivers managed to achieve that. I mean, are we going to see that as being the faster times, or do you think somebody can get into those low 137s, Adrian?
They might do. They might do. It's difficult to tell with the rain, because it's all going to depend how much water there is on track at any sort of one time. So yeah, they potentially could go into the 137s.
Well, I think it's going to be interesting, because I think they're going to be hard times to beat. I mean, that 137.7 and indeed a 137.9, I still think it's going to be a tough one to beat. I mean, okay, the guys have got a little bit more idea now that they've been out on track, done the previous queue, but even so, I think it's going to be a hard one to get. Yeah. So we see Mulan is in the pits. We're not too sure whether that is a spectate glitch, but we'll soon see what happens there. And then W Null.
It's also worth noting that Rewind wasn't able to select his setup due to something happening in Q1. I'm trying to get to the bottom of exactly what that is.
Oh right, so that's why Rewind is effectively out then. And was that loud?
Just going to slip in here, sorry, I just thought I'd pop into the commentary team here just to make note of a few things. So basically, it sounds like ITFN Mulan for Mercedes in P6 may have a spectator glitch. In other words, the game is registering him as out of Q3, even though, as you can clearly see, he's in it. And on top of that, we may have to restart the session because of that, and if we do, we have to do short qualifying, which means Rewind will be able to get back into qualifying with his correct setup, so he might be straight back into this. So we'll keep a firm eye out and we'll get more information as it comes, but for now this Q3 session continues to run.
Well, there you have it. This could get even more interesting than it already is. But Johan set provisional fastest time with a 1:38.1.
Just to add to that, Mulan cannot actually get out of the pit. He's stuck.
Yeah, he is stuck in the pits at the moment, Mulan. So we could well be looking at a restart situation with, as James ported out, a short quali, which will really mix it up and give a few drivers an opportunity which they weren't expecting.
Yeah, this is sort of, they talk about last chance saloon, this is second chance saloon, really.
Well, absolutely. But it is fair, ultimately, at the end of the day.
On top of that, I think it's going to give Josh Diggles another go.
Yes, that is very true. And I think he'll make the most of it. So 1:37.5 there from NW Null, so he bettered his previous time from Q2 by 0.4. So maybe, can he get another 5-6 tenths out of that? That would be interesting, wouldn't it?
It'd be interesting, and I think he probably can do it. Johan and Skills on exactly the same lap time there.
Yeah, they are. Both Johan and Hassan A11 Skills in the Toro Rosso, setting a 1:38.185. Bang on the nail for both those drivers. And they're coming into the pits now. You are with SynergyPWR, People's World Racing. This is Silverstone for race 10 of our season. This Division 1 race coming to you on a Thursday evening. And Division 2 racing on a Tuesday evening. Sorry, get it right. Division 2 racing on a Tuesday evening. Division 1 racing on a Wednesday evening, which is this evening. So if you're just tuning in now and watching and thinking, what is this amazing presentation here of an F1 esports race? Well, it is, as I said, SynergyPWR, People's World Racing. And if you enjoy it, make a comment. If you like it, join in. We are regularly here on a Wednesday evening at 7:30 for Division 1, and for Division 2 Tuesday evening, 7:30, that's UK time. And we're watching ZG Swift in a Mercedes as he's coming round onto the old start-finish straight, National Pit Straight, approaching Cops. 137.5 from NW Knoll, 138.1 from Johan in the Haas A11 Skills in the Toro Rosso, 138.185, ZG Swift 138.552. Oh, we're hoping we can see a low 137. We've got just under 4 minutes remaining. I'm still hopeful, Adrian. How are you feeling about it?
Yeah, equally hopeful. Yeah,
I'm hopeful. I'd love to see a 130, 136. That would be awesome.
I think if Tom was here, he might do it.
Well, I think either Johan or Noel, to be fair, but A11 Skills as well. I mean, he's on his outlap at this moment in time. I think he's put on a fresh set of boots there. See if he can push it a bit more. Mulan still to set a time. Obviously, he's stuck in the pit, so that's the reason why we might have to restart. Orbit Nations is out on track for Ferrari. Really winding up, taking it quite slow there as he's coming down the hangar straight. Don't know if he's waiting for somebody behind him. Yep, there we have it. A11 Skills just coming past him now, and also Rose Millhouse, so letting them through before he starts his hot lap. A11 Skills clearly not on his hot lap. NW Knowles in the pits, so Rose Millhouse equally not on a hot lap there. Let's ride with Rose Millhouse now as he's coming round Village and Aintree onto that Wellington straight now. Obviously no DRS, but DRS will come into play during the course of this race. We are expecting a damp start to the start of the race, aren't we, Adrian? Going to dry?
There might be just some sort of residual dampness on the track. I don't think it will actually be raining at the beginning of the race, as far as I know.
So that means everyone will have a tyre choice then?
Yeah, should do.
Well, certainly make it interesting. I mean, there are two ways to go. Obviously, harder compound start, go deeper into the race, then onto the softer compound once you're lighter in weight. Or there are those that might go the other way and go for a soft start and then go on to the mediums. Where does that come into play, though? I mean, where would the advantage be for somebody doing that sort of start, do you think?
Sorry, just repeat that for me, please, Eddie. Sorry, lots of things going on at the moment.
Yeah, no worries. I was saying, if you were starting on the softer compound tyres for a dry race, you know, in what circumstances would you be looking to start on that softer compound?
Well, anywhere in the sort of front three rows would want to start on the soft tyre to make the most of the sort of reasonably open track ahead of them. and they'll just push for that first stint, that first 10 laps or so. Come in around sort of lap 10, and then onto the mediums. And I think we've just got confirmation this race will be restarted. This qualifying session as a short qualifying.
Indeed, we will have a short qualification, and James, you can give us an update on that.
Yeah, so basically, obviously, because obviously we don't run as a league monetising one person as the whole centrefold, the whole drivers have to restart amongst themselves and come to an agreement for that to happen. And because we're running now with 15 drivers, that means 8 need to confirm that they're happy with the restart. We've now had 8 people step forward and say, yeah, restart sounds fine by me. So because of that, we're restarting the qualifying session as short qualifying, which is going to give the likes of Rewind, Sean Gregory and many other of the drivers well a real good opportunity here to restart and get themselves up further on the grid because of the various glitches that have happened. So we're obviously now leading on to a short qualifying session before the race. So this qualifying will be abandoned and we'll run short qualifying.
So there you have it. That is what's going to happen. So we are going to run a short qualification, and that's going to give a few people opportunity to jump back in. And while I was just making a note of the times there, A11 Skills decided to go in and ruin my wonderfully organised timesheet here, but A11 Skills sets a 1:37.8. NW Noel stays, but he does a 1:37.369. So that really is amazing. I mean, he's taken 4/10 out of his Q2 time, and that's on intermediate conditions.
That's pretty good. Pretty good going.
It's not bad, is it, really?
going on here. Oh, well, there will be investigation. Deserving winning there.
Good evening, SynergyPWR viewers across the world, and welcome to a typical summer's day here at the British Grand Prix. It's 3.6 miles of British tarmac laid to the British Grand Prix here for Season 1, the iconic Silverstone circuit having 18 turns and 3 DRS zones to help promote fantastic racing across here. Probably one of the most best tracks here on the calendar. But I'd say that is a bit biased, but I'm British, aren't I? And here is a couple of British guys who are also fantastic. It is Eddie and Adrian. Good evening.
Good evening, James, and welcome everybody to this Synergy PWR People's World Racing Race 10 here at Silverstone. And I am ably and wonderfully assisted by one of our Division 2 drivers, Adrian.
Hi, good evening there, Eddie. Hi, James. Hope you're both well.
We are doing fantastically well since we spoke 30 seconds ago.
Short memory. Sorry, I've just got stats and things all in my head. It's just taken over.
This is the man. This is the man that knows the know. That can tell you what's going to happen before it happens, while it happens, and after it happens. So at this moment in time, we are going to go for a short qualification and A11 skills in the Toro Rosso. First man. Oh no, he's not the first man. Who's the first man? Is it Williams? Oh my God, I can't find him. I think it might be Relentless. I think it's Relentless. Yep, Relentless is the first man out, followed by A11 skills. Now, quick little rundown. We've done a few queues, but we had a bit of a technical hitch, so we are going now for a one-shot qualify. They've got 16 minutes remaining to set the best time that they can, and we have all 15 runners and riders out on the track at this moment in time. This is going to be interesting, isn't it, Adrian?
Yeah, we haven't had a short qualifying session so far this season. I think we had one last season from memory. But yeah, no, it puts another little spin on things. Just the way it's worked out, I think.
It adds, as the French say, a certain soupçon.
I thought you were going to say je ne sais quoi. I don't know what it means.
No, soupçon is a little something, a little bit of spice, a little soupçon to the goings on. And ZG Relentless now coming up to the end of his hot lap. Now we've seen some excellent times, but A11 skills seems to have been up there. NW Knoll, I mean, they both got into the 137s. NW Knoll setting a 137.3. A11 skills a 137.8 in Q3. So we should see that. Yeah, please.
Can I be very bold and say that I think A11 skills is going to take pole? I think Tom will be right behind P2.
Why not?
Yeah,
you were clearly reading my mind, or your crystal ball is on full power this evening, because I was literally about to ask that. So you're going for A11 skills, yeah?
I am.
Well, I think I'm going to show, although I shouldn't really have, I am going to go with, I'm going to go with Tom.
Oh, I knew it. Be boring. But just because he's got like the last 15 poles in a row doesn't mean he's going to get this one.
Yeah, I like to play it safe. I'm a 2-to-1 odds man myself. Yes, James,
James is going to tell me off.
Yeah, no, I'm going to have a go myself actually at this one. I don't think Tom will get pole here. I don't think Tom will get pole because I think his first qualifying run, if you guys were tuned in earlier, he wasn't particularly the fastest runner out there. I don't know if he was made a few mistakes and whatnot. And he only managed to get as far as P5 in Q2, so, obviously minus the crash. So I'm going to put my money on his teammate NW Knoll,
Well, to be fair, James, I did think NW Knoll, but I thought, no, it's just counterintuitive for me. Let's go left field and let's go for his teammate. So that's why I went for Tom 1, 2, 3.
I wouldn't call Tom left field.
Well, there you have it. A11 Skills does precisely set the fastest time with a 1:37.8.
Oh,
We are
relentless.
on board with Tom now. As,
Sorry, Relentless
he's-
just on an epic drift around. I think that's. I can't tell what it is. Is that club?
might have been,
That
well,
was a hell of a drift. Oh no, it's turn 1, 2.
oh, right. Well, we're riding on board with Tom as he's coming round Vale now. He's on a 1:31, 1:32, just club to clear. Don't think he's going to set anything blind. Oh, 1:37.5, look at that! You hero! Tom. NW Noel's gone a 1:38.3 there. My
1:38.3,
director totally misguiding me. But NW Noel goes with 1:38.3, A11 Skills 1:37.8, and Tom, did you hear that, Adrian? Tom, is at
Yes, okay.
1:37.569.
Look, you say that, but do you know who's just got the fastest first sector? That's Sean Gregory. Oh, but there we go. He's just gone P4.
Sean Gregory.
I know.
He's gone
That was
fastest
his
first
no.
sector. But did you choose Sean Gregory, Adrian? Did you choose
No,
Sean
I
Gregory?
didn't. But I was thinking him.
Did you? Did you? No, you didn't. So,
Oh, okay,
Sean
I went for
Gregory,
11.
I love you, Sean, but at this moment in time, I'm really not bothered where you are, my friend. I'm more interested in that Tom in that purple 1:37.569. And Orbit Nation's coming round now. Orbit, don't spoil it for me. Our awesome Ferrari driver now.
Can I spoil it? He's got an invalid lap.
He has. Oh, dear.
I'll tell you who hasn't though.
Honestly.
Rewind fastest first sector, 30.5.
Well, let's go with Rewind. Fastest first sector. He's now
Second sector's
in
not
the
bad
third
either.
sector. Just about to come round Stowe as he does. Speeding down towards Vale. That tricky little left hand. He got a line up for turn 17 there. Nicely
I think
done.
he's on.
Lay down the power. Here he comes. Oh, a
that
1:37.954. We still have 10 minutes remaining, though, to be fair. So we've seen now 4 drivers in the 1:37s. NW Noel in the Williams is not in the 1:37s. He's actually in the 1:38. Oh, who just went off the track there? Who was that? Josh Diggles. Well, I just literally saw that on the camera as I was watching. It looks like, well, I don't know what happened, but he was going at a rate of knots. James, can you enlighten us on that? All
I
saw was a
can't.
blur.
I think he lost the rear end at turn 1. He must have clipped the curb or something. Obviously, thankfully, didn't crash into that car there. I think it was NW Noel coming out of the pits. But safe to say, I can see
NW Noel coming out the pits.
I can see the headlines already. Diggles had a little bit of a wiggles.
Oh, James.
How long have you been waiting to say that?
He has, hasn't he? He's had that written down on a post-it note, stuck to that screen for at least the past 4 races.
Good.
So here we are now, and well, that was a launch. And we're with Johan now. Johan set some pretty decent times himself. He did set a 1:38.185 in Q3, so he's not a million miles off the mark. This isn't looking too bad as he's coming down to Vale. He's coming round turn 17 now. This is looking good. Round club. Can he make it stick now? Oh no, 1:38.3 is just that last couple of turns. Couldn't quite get it down. And DG
The man.
Swift now.
Yeah, Swift's just gone fastest first sector. His second sector is only a 10th off of Tom.
Can he do as he comes round club now? No. Oh, 1:37.8 goes to P3. Nice
I was
drive
struggling with
there
that
from the
third.
Mercedes driver ZG Swift.
Yeah, lots of drivers losing a little bit of time in that third sector.
Hypernova now, he's down in P13. He's just coming round, getting ready to go around Aintree to get on that Wellington straight. There we go. Under the bridge now, lining it up, getting ready for that braking zone into Brooklands. Hit that apex, nicely done, sir. Right hand around Luffield, and we were talking about this, Adrian. Tricky at the best of times when you're coming around Luffield and getting that exit. Even tricky in these conditions.
Yeah, it's one of those corners that's just a bit too slow for the downforce to kick in, but too sort of fast for your mechanical grip. It's just sort of right between those two grip factors, if you like.
To be fair, I personally rate that as the most difficult corner of the track.
Yeah, I'd have to agree there.
Personally, but equally, you know, it's not easy, certainly through Maggots and Beckett's, but it's sweet when you have it lined up. When you get that line, it is a thing of beauty.
Rewind's going to improve his lap. Not Rewind, Hypernova's going to improve his lap here for certain.
He should do. He's just coming around Vale now. He's on a 130. That should put him round about the 137 mark. Oh, just again, 138.7. And I think it's just those last two turns as they're coming out. Just as they're sort of coming out of turn 17 onto Club. It's getting that traction down, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just it's these conditions. It's got to be. It's
oh,
just
absolutely. So NW Knoll now. We have our director's box getting agitated to see what NW Knoll can set.
He might do.
Coming down to Vale now. No, he's not gonna make it. He's not gonna make it. Oh God, look at him. 132, 133.
I think he's gonna go P3.
136. No.
He's done it.
137.5, and he does it just 137.565 as opposed to 137.569. That is 4 thousandths of a second on his teammate.
That's my boy. That's my boy right there.
That last sector was phenomenal. It was a full 0.3 faster than anyone else.
That is pretty amazing there, but it's still, as one might term, that knowing Nat's whisker between the two.
A11's letting me down here. What's going on?
He's he's only just coming in sector 1 now. So as we come round, I am on 6. Rewind coming down that hanger straight towards Stowe now. He's not going to be in those times.
No,
at this moment. He's coming into the pits. A11 Skills coming round the back now, down the old straight, the national pit straight into Cops.
Improved his first sector.
Lining himself up now into Maggots and then Beckett's. Nicely done. Round Chapel onto the hanger straight.
Big improvement on the second.
It's not looking too bad at all at the moment. Comes round Stowe, time's looking good. Equal to NW Knowles at this moment, I think, pretty sure. This is the critical one now. Get it lined up right, round Vale. I think he's got it, boys. I think he's got it.
Yes.
137.4. A11 Skills for Toro Rosso. Takes it by a tenth near on. What a fantastic run there from Skills. Tom and Noel in the pits. Mulan coming in. Sean Gregory's on the mount lap. ZG Swift coming down the national pit straight now. He's on a 1:37.8. He's only on his outlap, so no biggies there. Let's see who else is out. Johan 624 is coming up to Stowe.
I think James has got something to say.
Yeah, hiya. You see, now I've been screaming down the microphone, as you may not have been hearing. NW Noel. I still think him and Tom have got a good shout at pole here, because A11 Skill's got to get in, put a brand new set of intermediates on probably the least green part of the track, and right now I think it's highly unlikely he's going to get another lap in. So I think NW Noel and Tom are probably still favourites to get pole here. The question is, which Williams is it going to be? This is going to be spicy.
It is indeed. This is spicier than a nice biryani from your local takeaway on a Friday night.
Classic British food at the
Don't
British
go
Grand Prix.
away. Well, I was going to say a fal or a madras, but I didn't really want to give too much detail away. So CG Relentless in the Haas, not where he wants to be, but he's currently in P11. Hypernova in the Sauber, he's currently P12. His teammate Silver Surfer, currently P13. Rose Millhouse in the Red Bull, he's currently P14. Josh Diggles, as we know, crashed out. Lucas, not too sure, has he crashed out as well? Guess he must have done. So our leader at this moment in time, A11 Skills. He's followed by NW Noel. He's out on track at the moment on his outlap. Tom just coming out now as well on his outlap. Mulan on his outlap for Mercedes. Sean Gregory, he's out on track at the moment. Coming down the national pit straight towards Stowe. Round he goes. Let's stay with Sean Gregory. Comes through. Maggots into Beckett's now. Of course, we could all call it wrong. And we could see the likes of Sean Gregory or indeed Mulan pit them at the post.
Well, Sean's just set the fastest first and second sector. So
I was about to say, he's looking pretty damn good here at the moment.
Depend on
He's
how he
coming
does
down
these
to Vale.
corners.
These are the critical ones now. He needs to get the exit on this. Beautifully timed, get that power down. It's looking good. It's looking very good. 137.4 and Sean Gregory for Ferrari takes provisional pole. So NW Noel coming round Brooklands into Luffield. That last little kink as he comes out of Woodcote onto the national pit straight, approaching Cops. Good speed carried through there, good line as well.
Sorry, my battery's just
Watch out for that car coming in. Nicely taken. On the exit of Chapel now, onto that straight. This is that story. He's really pushing it. This is a good time here from MW Noel. Very good time. We could possibly see a 1:36.9. A bit slow to club there. What can he do? No! Don't think he's lost it on that last corner. Turn 17.
I think he's done it.
He does!
Yes.
Oh, look at that. 1:37.062. Tom coming round onto the national pit straight now.
While you're with Tom,
It's a Stowe.
Mulan's just at the fastest second sector by a long way.
And Mulan is starting to come through, as you heard there from Adrian.
sector's
No
decent.
great surprise. There's Mulan coming round onto the start-finish straight. What can he do? 1:37.2. But NW Noel goes at 1:37.0. Tom's coming round now, exiting of Vale. Sorry, Stowe down into Vale now.
I can't believe Tom's P6 right now.
No, it's looking awful. It's a 1:39. No!
No.
Tom is not
Wow.
going to make it on that one. Rewind is coming
Rewind
through.
is on an absolute flyer of a lap, fastest first and second sector. I mean, he's done it.
Look
He's
at
done
this,
it. Pole position.
136.
The
Pole
boy.
position for Rewind. What an amazing time. I don't have confirmation of the tenths and hundreds, but it was definitely a
36.9.
136.
36.9 he did.
36.9,
Amazing.
absolutely phenomenal.
I'm absolutely flabbergasted by that. What a selection of laps.
Well, it was absolutely amazing indeed. And I was just saying, watch out for those guys. Don't discount Rewind and Mulan or Orbit. And indeed, they certainly delivered on the day.
Got it.
So there we have it. Those were the times. Absolutely amazing. So we are looking for a dry start to this race. Obviously the drivers will have their own selection as they were on the intermediates for the qualification. This is going to be the time now to see who's doing what. Remember, we expect those drivers that are starting on the soft tyres to be looking to go that little bit faster for the start, then go on to the mediums, and the reverse to be said of those on the mediums.
Yeah, top six, I imagine, probably start on the softs with everyone else behind on the medium tyres. I doubt anyone will bother with the starting with on the hard tyre. So it is absolutely useless when you've got lots of fuel on board.
Yeah, I mean, really, the hard tyre can come into play, but you'd want to be burnt off at least a third of your fuel, I would have thought.
Yeah, I think so. I think we might see the hard tyre come into play as a sort of last resort, if someone has an accident early on, because the hard tyre will do the entire race quite easily.
Well, it's certainly going to be interesting, and well, Adrian, we both called it wrong. In fact, all three of us called it wrong, with James as well. That was a bit of a surprise there from Rewind, wasn't it?
That was, yeah. Well, you say surprised. I mean, I know he's got a lot of pace, but yeah, I don't think any of us had. Well, we didn't predict Rewind being top. There were lots of changes for that top spot in the last sort of 3 or 4 minutes. That was ridiculous, crazy.
It was.
I loved it.
Absolutely fantastic to watch, and it was really, well, yeah, it was pretty amazing to say the least. I mean, that was a great short quali round, and that's what short quali brings, I think, doesn't it, really? I mean, we do love the qualifications, obviously, going through them, but that short quali just brings that sort of, dare I say it, SH1T or bust sort of mentality, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I think as well, the track might have been drying out slightly towards the end, sort of as you had the cars drying it up with their tyres, I suppose.
Yeah, certainly the driving line was. But again, that doesn't always help when you're on the intermediates. If you're on obviously a stick compound, that would make this, but on the intermediates, that can sometimes work against you, can't it?
Yeah, it can do. Something else as well is that there's a sort of fine line, a very fine line between a bad time and a great time on the dry tyres, but on the intermediates and the wet tyres certainly there's a sort of a bigger window. You could do a lap, and then the next lap you could be a second and a half faster. But
well, yeah, it does make a hell of a difference, that's for sure.
Just down to how hard you're brave enough to push.
It is, and I suppose it's knowing the car and knowing your line, because all the car, I mean, that's another thing, a question that some people ask, are all the cars the same?
From my experience, I would say yes, they are, and any differences are sort of just psychological differences. That's my personal opinion. I don't know for certain, but that's just how I feel about each of the cars. I think they drive the same when they are all equal.
Yeah, I don't know. I've sort of often contemplated this myself. I mean, when I jump in the cockpit, I tend to jump in with a Haas. purely not, you know, the Mercedes I do like, but I hate the engine sounds on the Mercedes. I love the engine sounds on the Ferrari, but I want to give myself a midfield car just so I can get a real feel for it. And I've got to say, I mean, I do find the Haas nice car to drive, but the Saubers are pretty good as well, aren't they?
They're coming to turn 4 now. Oh, look at this. Look, you can see real battling going on here. Oh, well, there will be investigation. Deserving winning there.
Good evening, Synergy PWR viewers across the world, and welcome to Synergy PWR People's World Racing. We're here for round number 10 here at the British Grand Prix, and it's a typical summer's day here at the British Grand Prix. It's 3.6 miles of British tarmac lead the British Grand Prix here today for season 1. The iconic Silverstone track has 18 turns with 3 DRS zones to help promote some fantastic racing. And of course, fantastic racing requires fantastic commentators. It's Eddie and Adrian in the commentators box today here at Silverstone. Good evening.
Good evening, James.
Evening, James. Evening, Eddie. What a quality that was.
Good morning, Adrian. And how are you this morning, sir?
I'm exhausted after all that.
I could have done with a kit myself, actually. Gotta say, not what I was expecting for the starting grid on here. Well, certainly not in P1, but we have it. There is Rewind in the McLaren. He set a blinding 1:36.9 time in that short quali. We are on dry conditions. He is on the softs. Alongside him will be NW Knoll in the Williams. Second row, ITFN Mulan in the Mercedes is P3. Alongside him, Sean Gregory in the Ferrari. Row 3, A11 Skills in the Toro Rosso. Fast driver. Expect to see him trying to come through. Alongside him, Tom 123 in the Williams. Expect the same from Tom. Orbit Nations, row 4, P7 in the Ferrari. Alongside him, ZG Swift, Mulan's teammate in the Mercedes. Then we have row 5, ZG Relentless in the Haas. Alongside him, Hypernova in the Sauber. Row 6, Johan is P11 in the Haas. Alongside him will be Lucas in the Red Bull. Row 7 will be Silver Surfer in the Sauber. Alongside him, Rose Millhouse in the Red Bull. And bringing up the rear in row 8 will be Josh Diggles in the Renault. This is going to be a good race. I can feel it in my waters, Adrian.
I'll take your word for that.
Well, I'm not wishing to put our viewers off at all in any way, shape or form. We are here for Synergy PWR, People's World Racing. This is race 10 of our season here, as James said, at the iconic Silverstone track, the regal Silverstone track. The awesome Silverstone track as they line up now, ready for the start of this race.
Just in a few seconds before they start, I have to say it's really good to see Rewind racing with us again. Glad he's got pole. Obviously, I wasn't around for the last race when he made his return. But yeah, no, it's really good to see him back.
Well, lights are on. Last light on, and they are underway for the start of this Silverstone Grand Prix. Wow, plenty of wheel spin, plenty of dust. Rewind stays in there. NW Knoll, Tom's coming through. Mulan Rewind drops down. NW Knoll takes the lead into turn 1 now. What a fantastic
both Williams.
move. Look at this. Tom 123 closing in on the back as well, as is Mulan. Oh, is it coming round? Contact, and oh, Tommy's spun out. Oh, dearie me, turn 3 there. Real big problems. Tom's dropped back to the top of the field. Mulan's dropped back now as well. W Knowles still in front. Rewind is 2. Orbit Nation Ferrari is 3. His teammate Sean Gregory's gone up to 4. There's Orbit Nations in the Ferrari, zoning in on Rewind in that McLaren now. As they're coming up for the first go into Maggots and Beckett's. Sean Gregory's teammate is alongside him.
Yeah, just going back to that incident, it's really difficult to sort of work out what happened. I looked up and Tom was facing the other way, involved in the crash with Mulan. Tom actually had a really great start. Tom and Noel, both the Williams, really great start from P5 and 3 respectively up to P3 and 1. And then just a contact. It must have been, I presume, with Mulan. I haven't actually seen it. I have to look back at the replays. But it's going to be really difficult now. Really interesting for Tom and for Mulan to see if they can get back into this.
Lucas does a fantastic move on the start-finish straight. Sorry, their agent on Josh Diggles in the Renault. Josh not giving up though. He's taking it into turn 2. But Josh Diggles can't quite make it. Lucas stays ahead of him. Only just now, but he's coming up. It's clone. They got on the straight now. On the Wellington straight. Real fight between this Renault and Red Bull here.
You've got the other Red Bull behind as well, with Rose Millhouse.
Yep. They are very close, and Rose Millhouse is really riding on the gearbox of his teammate as they're coming round Cops. CG Relentless coming into Maggots now. Through Beckett's. He's closing down on Sean Gregory. Sean Gregory not enjoying those set of turns. James, you have got some news for us, mate.
Yeah, just thought I'd pop in here and just say there's quite an interesting battle here happening for P4 at the moment. These two drivers agreed to swap cars, didn't they? The Haas driver swapping from Ferrari because of the Ferrari curse, and now it seems like that Haas is starting to get up the rear end of that Ferrari that he was cursed by. So, interesting battle for P4. Also worth noting, P11 for P10. Silver Surfer getting really close and personal with A11 skill and an overtake for Silver Surfer.
Yeah, makes the move
just come in
on Tom. Tom really not having the start to this race that he was hoping for. Clearly taken by Silver Surfer in that last sector there. Really, really close racing between all these guys. Big, big advances here from Rose Millhouse in the Red Bull. But also ZG Relentless, he's moved up 4, started P9, and he's zoning in on the back of that Ferrari now. Oh, so close. That's an exit Luffield. Through Woodcock. He's right on the back of him now for Cops. Oh, had to back off there. Gets himself lined up into Maggots for the Beckett's turns now. I think he's going to have him on the exit. I think he could have him on Chapel. No DRS. Yes, there is DRS. Obviously, lap 3. Sean Gregory right in on the back of his teammate. They're almost getting a tow round that corner as they're coming round Cops now. Sorry, Stowe coming down to Vale. Oh, look at that. Cuts across him there. CG Relentless, fearless out of Vale. Orbit has disconnected. So I'm not too sure what's happened there. But Orbit has disconnected. We've now got Josh Diggles taking that place back from Lucas. Overtakes Orbit. Rose Millhouse, a little bit off put, comes through as well.
Just further down the pack, we've seen a great battle for P10 as Tom fights his way back up the field. He was side by side with Silver Surfer, through Maggots and Beckett's, the two of them, every corner.
Well, this is amazing. There's some really close times here. Rewind only 7/10 off the back of NW Knoll. We're running with Rose Millhouse in the Red Bull, trying to close down on Josh Diggles in the Renault ahead of him. And there's Rewind now. He's over a second now behind Noel. Wants to try and close that gap down. Wants to stay in within DRS zone. James, you have some news for us.
Yeah, I just want to talk about Rewind at the moment. He's getting up close and personal, actually, with Noel at the moment. He's actually closing that gap down really, really quickly. He's actually, I guess you could say, closing it relentlessly, as ZG Relentless himself is also closing the gap down on Sean Gregory. So the battle for P2, P1, P3, P4... I mean, it's a fantastic viewing, that's for sure. Keep an eye out on the strategies, by the way. Very interesting that the bottom three now all on hard tyres. They'll be going on to the end of the race. As Lucas is also in the pits, he may be going on to hard tyres to the end of this race. So, as there we are, yeah, he is going on hard. So, it's going to be quite an interesting battle to see how those bottom runners at the moment, that's Mulan, Hyper, Skill, Johan and Lucas, are going to feed into the rest of the field later in this race. So, keep a firm eye on that one, as Relentless and Sean have just swapped places.
Indeed. Sean Gregory swapping there he is, P4 Sean Gregory. Relentless has made the move on him, but Josh Diggles only 1.5 seconds down, but Sean's closing in on him as they come round Cops into Maggots. So close between these two. He's got the DRS. Can he make the move before they get into Stowe? Relentless going defensive, but he easily makes the move on him before they get into Stowe. Takes that place.
ZG's ERS, he actually had no battery whatsoever in the car. Sean looks like he's got about a third of his left. Easy move, I think.
Clearly, that Ferrari faster in the third sector, but I think Relentless is going to take it again from him in this first or second sector. Nicely done round there, and this is where he's going to make up the advantage now as they're coming around the loop round to Aintree. He's going to have the DRS.
Yeah, Relentless is still in mode 5, but with nothing in the car.
Well, he's coming into Brooklands, can't quite make it stick into Brooklands. Luffield is where he took the plunge and managed to get ahead. I think it was Brooklands Luffield on the previous lap, but he can't seem to make up that pace. And as you say, he's out of the energy. He's going to have to try and replenish that and stay as close as he can, really, to the back of that Ferrari, isn't he?
Yeah, well, we saw Relentless sort of display some, one would say, fairly lackluster ERS management at France, where he stayed mode 2 for the pretty much for the duration of the race. It looks like he's doing the same here, but mode 5.
Well, he's certainly putting a battle in there. ZG Swift in the Mercedes are on board with now as he comes up to Stowe. He's down in P6 at this moment in time. And Tom is starting to work his way through the field. Tom's now in P7. 2.3 seconds off the back of that Mercedes, so he is starting to work his way through the field on those softs.
Yeah, he's the second fastest man on the track at the moment, behind Rewind.
Well, he's certainly going well into turn 2 now. Nicely through Farm Curve, down into Village now. Tricky set of corners, these 3 corners, turns 3, 4 and 5, round into Aintree.
Yeah, very easy to get them wrong, especially that final corner onto the back straight there.
Yeah, it is tough, that last one onto the Wellington straight, and then we come round here. And there's Josh Diggles now closing in on the back of ZG Swift. And ZG Relentless still on the back of that Ferrari, but good speed here from Josh Diggles, really catching up now through Beckett's to Relentless. Let's see what he can do.
Yeah, he's looking pasty. I mean, his last lap was his best lap, and it is the 3rd best lap we've seen so far.
What can he do here into Stowe? Can't get on the inside line there. What? Maybe into Vale. Very close indeed. And Rewind now. Closing in on NW Noel. Lost it a little bit into turn 1. Oh, Noel locks up into turn 2. Rewind makes up that gap now. Right up close and personal. 2/10 off the back of NW Noel as he hits the DRS on the Wellington straight now.
There's a three-way battle for P3 just behind
Coming
them.
into Brooklands. Ooh, and NW Noel locks up again into Brooklands. Oh, this is so close now as they come around Luffield into Woodcote onto the pit straight.
Pressure's on Noel.
Real pressure here for Noel into Cops now. Yeah, Rewind had to
Oh,
back off a little bit. Lost a bit of pace there.
He'd have got a warning there.
Yeah, he would have got a 3 second. I think he got 3 second, did he?
No, I think it'd be just a warning for that.
Oh, right. But very, very close now as they exit onto the final hangar straight. He's got the speed. Can he make it stick into Stowe? Oh,
Around the
he's got
outside
the
of
inside
Stowe?
line, the Williams.
There was contact there. Just saw
Into Vale,
Rewind's
there was a bit of
driver
contact.
raise his hand. No damage.
Oh, look at this. Side by side into the start-finish straight. Coming into turn 1. Who will have it? Oh, and the clash of tyres there. Rewind goes off the
Both
track.
angry.
NW Noel pushes ahead. James.
Worth making big note about this, by the way, guys. Remember, these drivers have got to cope with simulation damage. Simulation damage. One little hit and they can have front wing damage. If these keep battling too hard, they will end up having quite a huge accident. They've got to bear in mind and not be too harsh. Another overtake.
Yes.
And look,
Can he
there's a
make
lock
Stowe?
up.
He locks up again.
He's done it.
Locks up
And-
again as they're coming into Brooklands.
And he's
Can't
got
get the
loads.
advantage.
He's got loads more battery. Noel was really just frantically getting everything he could out of his car to stay ahead. He's got nothing left to fight with now. Not at the moment.
So NW Noel was totally depleted.
He's under fuel as well, so they must have been enriched from the start.
So Rewind seals the deal, takes the place back from NW Noel. 3 second time penalty for Mulan there. And ZG Relentless now in the Haas, still up close and personal to Sean Gregory in that Ferrari, not been able to make that move yet. They're coming round Stowe, down towards Vale. Can he do something into these last set of corners? Round Vale, into turn 17 now.
Rose Millhouse has just overtaken Tom.
So Rose Millhouse overtakes
And Tom's
Tom,
in.
and Tom is coming into the pits. So
Yeah,
Tom
don't know.
into the pits. Rose Millhouse takes the place from him, jumps up to the P7.
Rose actually set
CG
purple
Relentless
first
now,
sector.
still on the back of this Ferrari of Sean Gregory. As they're coming round Aintree now, onto that Wellington straight. He'll have the DRS. Can he do something before they get into Brooklands? And Sean Gregory going defensive. ZG trying to take that offside line. Oh, clash of tyres there, just as they're coming into Brooklands. Round Luffield now. He's got the inside line. Can he get that power down? That's what he needs to do. But Sean Gregory,
Got quite a lot more battery now, Relentless. He's obviously saved it up for this charge.
oh, into Maggots through Beckett's.
Josh Diggles with another 3 second penalty.
So close between these two now. He's got the DRS. Can he make the move? Look at this. He just gets a nose ahead, but Sean Gregory pushes him off. But ZG Relentless stays on. Gets ahead of him. Beautiful, beautiful
good
move
battle,
there
yeah.
from Relentless. Sean
Brilliant.
Gregory, hard but fair. Relentless came through anyway. No, I'm coming through.
This is the best we've seen
My
from
Ferrari
Relentless for a long
cousin.
time.
It's Lovely, beautiful, close racing here between these guys. Oh,
Nearly.
and relentless. Sliding James, what have you got to say?
Sorry to keep popping in here. I just wanted to make note of a new rule that's come in with SynergyPWR about stuff like what's just happened right there. Sean,
look at this!
Oh, what a move.
Look at this!
Again.
Wheel-to-wheel contact. Sean Gregory trying to take the inside, but surely Relentless has the advantage on the exit of Luffield. Now he can push that Ferrari out. Doesn't choose to.
They're not giving us a chance to speak.
He comes back, he's got the line into Copse now. Lovely job there from Sean Gregory. Sean Gregory does a lovely move, lined himself up with the Copse there, was on the inside, got the power down, but Relentless is coming back. He's got DRS. Sean Gregory going defensive as they come into Stowe. Sean Gregory now watching the Haas alongside him, and again,
great
CG
move.
Relentless pulls out ahead of him on the exit of Stowe, down into Vale.
That's what you call wheel to wheel.
So close here.
That's great stuff.
That is amazing.
Leader in the pit. Everyone's in.
Leader in the pit now. So ZG Relentless will take provisional pole, showing Gregory provisional second. Josh Diggles for Renault. He's provisional third now. ZG Swift for Mercedes 4. Rose Millhouse for Red Bull is 5. Rewind coming out onto the track now. ELP coming out P6. NW Knoll behind him. He's coming out P7. Silver Surfer for Sauber is P8. P9 Tom. Well, Tom just set the fastest provisional time of 1:29.3. He's trying to get himself through there. He's on the mediums to the end. A11 Skills. He's down in 10 on the Toro Rosso. Lucas in the Red Bull. He's 11. Johan in the Haas. He's 12. Hypernova in the Sauber is 13. Mulan for Mercedes is 14. Orbit Nation for 15. And we're with Relentless now as he's closing in on the back of Sean Gregory.
I have to say, I think Noel may have made a mistake coming in the same lap as Rewind. I think perhaps if he'd come in a lap earlier, end of lap 10, he could have possibly gone for the undercut on him. But now he's going to have to race him on track for the entire race.
Look at this, so close between Sean Gregory and ZG Relentless again as they're coming round Stowe. ZG Relentless gets ahead of him. Down into Vale now. Oh, and he went straight in the back there. The Renault just came through. Look at this. Josh Jiggles jumps on through.
Came out of nowhere, didn't he, Josh?
He was coming up close,
Yeah,
but I think
damage
because there
on
was
the-
that
on the
contact
Ferrari.
between Sean Gregory, and I think that's what's dropped him back, and ZG Swift got through as well because they were right alongside each other. Sean Gregory's the
Mulan's
loser
out.
here. Rose Millhouse is out.
Hopefully this won't be too bad for Sean because I think he was due to come. Oh no, he won't be. No, he's got sort of 4 or 5 more laps before his natural pit stop.
James, you got some news on us?
Yeah, I just wanted to go back onto a point that were happening earlier, actually, between Relentless and Sean Gregory. You saw that was a bit of a collision, but it didn't look like a collision. There's a new rule that's been implemented at SynergyPWR for basically, there's a glitch with a load of the models of these cars, so much so that either the front wings or the rear gearboxes are actually extended out further. So basically, long story short, you can actually hit someone without hitting them. The drivers know about this now, they all know about it, and it's in the rulebook. If you get involved with a collision of that similar stature, you will be penalised with the penalty as if you did hit them. Simple as that. Really close battling as Josh Diggles is getting up close and personal with a bit of a dive up the inside. Whoa!
Well, Josh Diggles going for a brave move there into Stowe, but couldn't make it stick. He's clearly seeing red, this Renault driver, because he can see that provisional P1 ahead of him, and he is not giving up in any way, shape or form. They are on the mediums. You expect another 4 laps or so before they come in, do you think, Adrian?
Yeah, about that. Yeah, sort of 16, 17, maybe lap 18. You know, if they're really nice on the tyres. But yeah, it should be around then.
Well, there's a real 3-way battle going on here between ZG Swift.
Swift is actually the fastest man on the track at the moment. It's about half a second faster than anybody else.
So close here. So very close between these three guys as they come round onto the national pit straight. Coming down to Copse. Josh Diggles has the advantage, certainly into Copse. Yes, he does, takes the place. ZG Swift also makes the move on Relentless now.
Swift's gone
Gets
through.
himself through as they come into Maggots.
I was just about to make a comment. He's got to be careful here because it's looking really up close and personal, and any slight little touch and it could really spin these cars out. Look how old these mediums are for them. Johan also out.
Johan has just gone out. Johan 624 in the Haas. Oh, look at this, so close here between Josh Diggles. Swift takes the move into Stowe, lovely job, but Josh Diggles is not having any of it. There's real wheel-to-wheel action there, and again ZG Relentless slips through there. Real fight between these three drivers.
It's quite a
Josh Diggles picks up the 3-second time penalty.
On the previous lap, or 2 laps ago, Josh kind of bullied his way past Sean. He just had the exact same thing happen to him on the same corner by ZG Relentless.
Well, when I said they were seeing red, I don't think I was joking. There's real aggression here, but it's so good. There's aggression, but not stupidity, I think is probably the best way I can put it. They're really keeping it together and really driving wonderfully here.
Hi guys, just step in here just to make a quick comment about Tom123 for the win. Look where he's placed at the moment. He's provisional P3 at this rate because Josh and Relentless and Swift all still need to pit. And Tom, although on... Oh, hang on, there's been a bit of a collision there at the back.
And Relentless went way off track there. Went very wide, Relentless.
Just wanted to make a quick comment though.
Yeah, you're absolutely spot on.
Yeah, just wanted to make a quick comment though about Tom123 for the win. At this rate, when the three of them at the front go pit, Tom's going to be P3. He's been spun out and now he's back on the podium provisionally anyway.
And a very well spotted there indeed, James, because that is very true indeed. He's on a fresh set of tyres. These three will have to come in. Rewind will take provisional pole back again. NWO will be second, but Tom will be third. Yep, and ZG Swift is into the pits. Oh my goodness, Orbit Nations. We've missed out on that one, but he's crashed out. So far, we've got 4 drivers out. Orbit Nations for Ferrari, Johan for Haas, A11 Skills for Toro Rosso, and Mulan for Mercedes. All quality drivers out at the early doors here. We're on lap 16 of 26. This is SynergyPWR, People's World Racing. Silver Surfer just picked up a 5-second stop-go for speeding in the pit lane. ZG Swift now in P6. And James, you have an update for us?
Yeah, I just want to take a quick look at ZG Swift at the moment. He's actually looking very quick. He's going to be on soft tyres versus 6-lap-old mediums for Tom123 for the win. I did say third place was possible for Tom, but he's going to have to get a shift on if he wants to try and beat ZG Swift, because now, I think with those soft tyres and only 4 seconds being the difference, he's on for an absolute cracking race, is Swift.
Well, indeed, only 10 laps remaining. Those softs will certainly go that. Lesser fuel load. Well spotted there. He's only 4 seconds down the road. I mean, he could catch up to him within the next couple of laps quite easily, I think. Let's go on board now with Tom. He's coming down, approaching Stowe. We've seen some wonderful moves around Stowe here from a number of the drivers, but that fight there that was going on between Relentless and Josh Diggles was pretty amazing, wasn't it, Adrian?
Yeah, it was, and obviously and Sean involved in that as well. Just a shame Sean got himself tangled up.
So Rewind takes pole, NWO second, and Tom is indeed now third, but ZG Swift now only just over 3.5 seconds behind.
Massively in front. Sorry, just want
Tom.
to come in here. Got massively in front, and here in front of ZG Swift and Josh Diggles, who are stuck in traffic. Swift has made a brilliant call.
He has indeed.
That's a good spot. Yep.
He's just picked up a 3-second time penalty. And indeed, I hear a muttering of Cursor, the commentator, in the background, and all too true. It does happen, James, but it is the racing. So ZG Swift only 3 seconds now behind Tom, and he should catch up with him at this rate within about 3 laps. And P10 Hypernova, he is on the softs. Sorry, he's on the hards. The Silver Surfer, his teammate, is on the softs just behind him, but he's 25 seconds down the road. But look at this, he's closing in on the back of that Ferrari there of Sean Gregory, isn't he? They are both on the hards. But Sean Gregory's a lot younger.
Fine at the moment. Fine at the moment is Hyper. Just set his, I don't know how he's done it, but he set his fastest lap of the race so far on 13-lap-old hard tyres. Has he done that? James?
Sorry, I keep coming in here, don't I? I've just had some news come in from Callum White, Orbit Nations, who's left, obviously ended up retiring from the session. Information about Josh Diggles. The reason why he's so low down is because he spun. He spun out of the pits.
Oh.
Hey, say that again.
Yep, sorry, back here again. No, he spun out the pits. He were leaving the pit lane and apparently spun the car. So he's now down as far as P8 behind Lucas.
Oh, right, yes, okay, I'm with you now. I couldn't quite understand that, but yeah, Josh Diggles, that's why he's dropped down to P8. Managed to spin his car apparently on the exit of the pits. But I'm not overly surprised by that because he's really got the bit between the teeth, so I'm not surprised in a way that happened to him.
Sorry, just a bit of a correction on that. Hang on. Oh, there we go. Bit of a correction on that. It was Maggots and Beckett's where he spun, not the pit lane. It was Maggots and Beckett's.
Oh, right. Okay. That does make somewhat more sense. Yeah, okay. So Josh Diggles drops down to 8 as he lost it through the Maggots Beckett section. Lucas in the Red Bull is in P7. ZG Relentless in the Haas. He's in P6, but he's on a nice fresh set of softs. But all the runners and riders at this moment in time should go to the end of the race on the tyres they're on, and ahead of him Rose Millhouse is on the softs as well, as is ZG Swift. As he just comes over the start finish line, he's now 2 seconds, just under 3 seconds off the back of Tom. He is catching up, but it's not as fast as I expected him to be. What do you think, Adrian?
Yeah, he's catching him and then he's not catching him. So I don't know whether it's sort of the tyres going through phases.
I don't know, he's just not, he's closing down the gap, but not as much as I would expect him to. He's coming around Luffield now, he's got the Williams in sight as he just goes round the corner there onto the National Pit Straight. You can see him going round Copse, so he's within sight. I mean, that will obviously encourage him to get pedal to the metal effectively, but it's coming down, but it's only coming down 2 or 3 tenths a lap at this moment in time. He will catch him up, but
yeah, well,
can Tom hold him off?
The longer he takes as well, the older those soft tyres are going to get, and the more difficult it's going to be.
Well, Tom is done exceptionally well considering his first few laps certainly didn't pan out the way he was expecting them to, but ZG Swift is definitely closing down, and there's only 6 laps remaining of this SynergyPWR People's World Racing. This is Division 1. We are at Silverstone for race 10 of our 2018 season. 1 effectively. I don't know what season it will be. We are obviously in 2018 already. We've done a number of seasons. I'm sure James will inform me as to what season we're on. Season 1 it is indeed of 2018. But ZG Swift is closing down that gap to Tom 1, 2, 3. He's got 6 laps remaining in to do it. I'm sure he will catch him up, but I know that Tom isn't going to make it easy for him. Hypernova is closing in on the back of Sean Gregory now for P9. Let's have a quick look at that. As they're coming round Luffield now. into Woodcott, onto the straights, getting down to Copse. Now the interesting thing here, they're both on the hard tyres. We have seen Sean
That's better, I
Gregory
can hear you again.
I was
doing
about
well
to step
there,
in and be
but
secondary
Type Nova
commentator then.
carrying through. Yeah, I wasn't too sure what was happening there.
Yeah, no, I don't know what happened there. My headset decided it was going to give up the ghost.
Oh. He is getting very close into Stowe. Makes the move, but Sean Gregory takes the better line on the inside into Stowe. But Hypernova is definitely determined to get himself through here. ZG Swift now is only 3. Oh, ZG Swift's dropped down behind Rose Millhouse. Must have made an error there. ZG Swift's down to 5th place. Rose Millhouse is in 4th, and he's now nearly 7 seconds behind Tom. Yeah.
Yeah, he's got
ZG
past him.
Swift taking the place back from Rose Millhouse. Clearly, he must have made an error and
Tell you
gone off
what.
track at some point.
Tell you what, right there, right now, that might just be ZG Swift's end of possibly getting a podium here. What a shame.
I totally agree with you on that one. And Rose Millhouse picking up a 3-second time penalty there. Totally agree with you, James. Clearly, ZG made some error, allowed Rose Millhouse to get ahead of him. He's now dropped down 7 seconds behind Tom, and going from his previous times, he's not going to be able to catch him up before the end of this race.
No, he's made it very difficult for himself now.
He definitely has.
Shame.
It is a great shame, but Lucas now I'm seeing is only 7/10 behind Josh Diggles in the Renault. Hypernova, same gap to Sean Gregory, still not able to make that move. We're on lap 22 of 26, 4 laps remaining for this Silverstone Grand Prix race 10 for SynergyPWR People's World Racing. This is Division 1. We race on a Wednesday evening at 7:30. Division 2, a race on a Tuesday evening at 7:30. My co-commentator Adrian is a driver in the Division 2, great driver, great commentator, and it's a great race at the moment here, isn't it, Adrian?
Yeah, it's been been non-stop action all over the grid actually. You've had battles up front, obviously Rewind and Noel, both sort of before and after their pit stops, and then you've had Tom as well fighting his way up from last place after that incident, turn 2 or 3, with his spin.
Yeah, it certainly has mixed it up, that's for sure. But Rewind, he's kept that place. I mean, he lost it for a while, but he kept it. NW Knowles stayed in that second. But the man here, Tom, I mean, phenomenal way he's come through there. I mean, he's jumped up 3 places. Is it 3 places? No, almost more than that. No, it is 3 places because he started in P6.
He started P6, went to P15, now back up to P3. Ridiculous. But, you know, he's the man leading the championship. He's won the last 6 races back to back.
Yeah, I mean, phenomenal driver without any doubt whatsoever.
And speaking of phenomenal drivers,
the fight now with Lucas, who's 5/10 off the back of Josh Diggles. Can't seem to make his way through here. Real fight going on.
I was actually going to start talking about Rewind, but yeah, we can stay with
yeah. No,
stay
please
with this
go
battle
ahead,
here.
Adrian. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I was just going to say this is only even though we're at race 10, this is only his 4th race this season. This will be his first win, of course, this season. I think his best finish was about 6th place, I think, without checking the stats. But yeah, no, he's done really well. He's made a great comeback. I think the break did him a lot of good.
Yeah, I mean, certainly we know Rewind from previous seasons as being an awesome driver. Not where we would expect him to be in this championship because he is down in 14th place, but he'll be picking up some valuable points, certainly, for this race. And James, do you have some news for us?
Yeah, I just wanted to elaborate on a point that you were saying there, Adrian, about taking a break. I wrote something on my Twitter about people taking a break, drivers needing a break. I think in the long run, it's extremely important that people do take a break and enjoy a break, because in the end it puts their mindset back in the long run of a game. I think it's much like a tyre strategy almost. If you're not in that mindset and you're able to make that break, then make it work. That's how I see it anyway.
No, I can see where you're coming from. I'm sure Adrian will agree from a driver's point of view.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. To be honest, sometimes that's the only way to sort of stop a bad run of form. Sometimes is to just sort of come away from it. And as James said, if you're not enjoying your racing, there's no point in racing, because it is a game at the end of the day, and that's what we're here for, is to have fun, to enjoy ourselves.
No, absolutely, I totally agree. I mean, obviously, I do a limited amount of driving, not a great deal of racing at all, but certainly on the driving side. But I can understand the competitive nature, and nobody's out there to lose. Everyone is out there to win. Sometimes you can see the red mist and it doesn't help you. Other times it can heighten your concentration, but sometimes I agree with you, that break just to recoup yourself, reassess what you're doing and get that enjoyment level up, and you definitely drive better when you're enjoying it. There's no two ways about it. I've got to say, actually, I've got to say, Tom. I know it sounds so sort of obvious.
Sorry, this
obviously,
is just
Tom,
for the people who are
championship
in
leader,
the
etc.
session.
But
I completely forgot to unmute my microphone. I was just asking the commentators who they feel their driver of the day is. Leave your comments who you feel your driver of the day is in the comments to the right or below if you're on the app. Absolutely agree. I think Tom is well deserved of driver of the day. He's got spun out, and then that incident happened. He's put himself back to P3. I mean, surely though you'd have to consider rewinding that lot though, surely, because I mean he's had a fantastic race.
Yeah, Rewind would be my my personal driver of the day, if I'm perfectly honest. I'd be very hypocritical to give it to Tom, because at Abu Dhabi last year, or last season, Rewind had a similar race to what Tom's had just now. I.e., he started high up, had an accident, went down, but made a comeback. So, I mean, Tom is deserving of driver of the day, just as Rewind was. Although I didn't give it to Rewind then, I gave it to Hypernova, who won the race. So I'm going to give it to Rewind on this occasion.
yeah, I can see where you're coming from that. I mean, certainly he's put in a fantastic race, and it's good to see him back up there. And I think, the driver of the day is always a wonderful achievement to gain for any driver, and it'll certainly bolster him. So yeah, I can see where you're coming from, but I will stick with Tom just purely from the point of view of how he's managed to recoup from that incident right at the beginning of the race. We are now on the final lap, and I was just seeing if CG Relentless could close down, but Rose Millhouse is closing down on him, could make the move possibly before the end, but Rewind now coming down the the national pit straight into Cops for his final lap. NW Knoll 4.5 seconds down the road from him. Tom holding that third place. ZG Swift still 7 seconds down the road from Tom, so he didn't manage to close that gap up, did he?
No. I mean, he tried his best. I think he might have been trying a bit too hard, and it just hasn't worked out, has it?
But he goes, good races as well from ZG Swift. I'm sure he's jumped up some places there. I think he has, hasn't he? I'm pretty sure he has. So we're with Rewind now as he comes round the final corner to finish this Synergy PWR People's World Racing Silverstone British Grand Prix. Takes the win. NW Knoll for Williams takes second. Tom for Williams takes third. ZG Swift for Mercedes will take fourth. ZG Relentless for Haas.
It's Relentless best finish.
Fifth. Is it Relentless's birthday? Happy birthday.
No, best finish. I should have let you just carried on singing away.
You should have done, really. Rose Millhouse takes sixth. Lucas for Red Bull takes 7th, and we'll run through the rest of the grid. But wow, that was a great Silverstone Grand Prix here for the Division 1 guys.
Yes, that was brilliant. Enjoyed that one.
Absolutely awesome. So there we have it. Rewind takes the win, takes the 25 points, helps him move up within the championship. NW Noel for Williams takes 2nd place. Tom 1, 2, 3 for Williams takes 3rd. And those Williams just will not go away from that podium, will they?
No, certainly not. And do you know what? Silver Surfer just got fastest lap on the very final lap of the race.
I
So,
did
congrats to
just
him.
catch that, actually. Yeah, did just catch that. So we finished with Lucas for Red Bull in 7th. Sean Gregory for Ferrari takes 8. Josh Diggles for Renault takes 9. Great job from him. Hypernova for Sauber takes 10. Silver Surfer for Sauber takes 11. Orbit Nations, Johan, A11 Skills, Mulan, DNF. And I just want to quickly say there that before we go, for the Renault driver, started in 15th, finished in 9th. So great job there from Josh Diggles as well. Thank you very much for watching. We hope you've enjoyed it. I'll say a fair good night from me. And next week, where are we next week, Adrian?
We're in Germany next week.
Germany for
Hockenheimring after.
Hockenheimring.
That's it.
So Hockenheimring next week. So we'll see you next week. We hope you've enjoyed it. Thanks very much and good night.
Yeah, good night, everyone.